Welcome, dear viewer, to a journey into the heart of Bulgaria's natural beauty, where the charm of rustic living meets the allure of modern comfort. Picture yourself standing at the doorstep of this picturesque Bulgarian property for sale, nestled at the very end of Gorsko Ablanovo, a village surrounded by enchanting forest hills. As your gaze wanders, you'll find yourself captivated by the sight of a pine forest adorning the hill just behind the property, creating a backdrop that seems painted by nature itself. Gorsko Ablanovo, aptly named the Forest Village, offers a serene escape with two fishing lakes a mere 10 minutes away and the gentle flow of the Cherny River just a few miles distant. This traditional two-story Bulgarian house, with its solid stone foundation and handmade brick construction dating back almost a century, exudes the timeless charm of the region. Stepping inside, you'll discover 3 inviting rooms and a corridor on the first floor, while the second floor unveils another 3 rooms, a corridor, and a cellar, a versatile space perfect for crafting an inner bathroom and toilet. The allure deepens as you explore further, for this house is almost fully furnished, beckoning you to make it your own haven. But the true gem lies outside, where a vast fully regulated plot of land spanning 1,100 square meters awaits your dreams to unfold. An expansive barn, roughly 50 square meters in size, stands poised for transformation, perhaps into a cozy guest house or a covered barbecue area, offering potential for profit through rentals. As you immerse yourself in the visuals, consider the possibility of weaving a sustainable lifestyle into the fabric of this property. The vast farm buildings and fertile, 100% freehold land provide an ideal canvas for creating a small farm, cultivating crops, fruits, and even producing your own eco-organic food, shielded from the hustle and bustle of city life. Now, let me pose a question to you, dear viewer. Can you envision a life where the tranquility of nature meets the comforts of home? A life filled with the bounty of your own cultivated farm and the whispers of the forest? Imagine waking up to stunning views, with the forest, river, and meadows beckoning for horse rides or leisurely strolls. The air is crisp and clean, far from the pollution of city life. Have you ever yearned for such a sanctuary, a place where nature embraces you in its purest form? And here's a thought to ponder: what if this property became your canvas for a self-sustaining life, a retreat from the city's chaos? As you continue exploring the visuals, let me invite you to share your thoughts. What dreams would you bring to life in this Bulgarian homestead? Comment below and let your imagination flow. Now, don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Reach out to us at your earliest convenience. Whether you seek a permanent home or a holiday escape, this property promises the serenity you crave. Before we conclude, I extend a polite invitation to you, dear viewer. Leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for future updates on exquisite properties and the art of blending modern living with nature's embrace. Your journey to a new life in Bulgaria awaits. Seize the opportunity.